Give me a moment with your friend. I've never been on trial for my thoughts before.
Welcome to the Only One Mic podcast. Carl Javab, Brooklyn Trey. J-Rob's in the building. Just me is off tonight. How you doing, fellas?
What up?
It's good. Let's get it.
All right, y'all. We about to go in, man. Gonna talk about this Hebrews to Negroes. Wake up, Black America. That thing is causing a lot of controversy today. You know what I mean? For Kyrie Irving. I gotta let y'all know, like, full disclosure, I didn't see the joint, but Brooklyn Dre did.
I saw it. It was trash, man. I hate to say it. I kind of knew it was going to be trash. You know, first of all, I'm not a big fan of the Hebrew Israelites in the first place, but just to be objective. I mean, it was like a Black and Noble, man, like a Troy Reed documentary, man.
No disrespect to Troy.
Yeah, let me tell you something, man. Yeah, listen, I used to like them, them Alpo and Raphael Edmond DVDs, but they were street DVDs, and that's what they were supposed to be, man. If you're trying to put out an educational piece, it was just, it's a lot of rap music in it, and it's a bunch of hip hop bug crap, man. If you're trying to put out something that people going to look at it and be like, oh, this is a nice educational piece, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's kind of clownish, had a lot of theatrical, thunderstorms dropped in it, like all over the place, a bunch of lion heads.
A lot of smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, a lot of lion heads. To be honest with you, it was a glorified PowerPoint for about 3 hours and 28 minutes.
Wow.
It's about a 3 hour and 28 minute PowerPoint. It's not like they're sitting down with a bunch of scholars and, asking questions about, the beginning and the Bible and all the other ancient times and stuff like that. It's just a bunch of just drawing out, stuff about, whether or not, the original Hebrews were Black or not. Like I said, I was telling you guys earlier, it was like 3 hours and 28 minutes long. It's hard to keep your attention span because the bottom line to it is that, I subscribe to the Christian Bible. And I say we subscribe to the Christian faith, but I'll say that just for the listeners. But I call it, but the Bible calls it holiness. You know what I mean? So that's what I subscribe to. But and I don't want to get into a biblical conversation, but if you're just looking at the Bible, I mean, 3 hours and 28 minutes to explain that, the original Hebrews were Black is like, I don't know if it's the right word to use, like asinine, man. It doesn't make any sense, man. Like if you're looking at the Bible, I mean, the Bible tells you right off the back that Adam and Eve was born and, was created in Africa. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, all of these different scholars who might be Muslims, you might be somebody that don't believe in God, you might be atheist or whatever like that, and you can have all these other different thought processes in regards to how you feel about the scriptures and God and everything like that. But if you're a Hebrew Israelite, then you're either reading from the Old Testament or the Torah. And I read the Torah years ago, but I'm assuming that the Torah is pretty much the same thing, where it's like it's telling you that Adam and Eve it was created in Africa. So why in the world would it take you 3 hours and 28 minutes to explain that the original Hebrews were Black? All people are originally Black. We all come from African descent. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's a fact. And based on this, like we all know, I'm not going to go through the whole controversy because this has been going on for like the last couple of weeks or so. With Kyrie talking, what he so-called, as the media would portray it, him promoting this particular documentary on his Twitter feed, and it, caused him to, be suspended. And they're now saying like, using the term butt breaking with him and all of this, coming right off the back of the Kanye situation where they're saying like this is anti-Semitic and they're not accepting apologies from this cat. What, just going on.
I'm just, first of all, going back to the documentary, I'm disappointed in Kyrie, man. He went to a school of higher learning, and I don't want to sit here and say because he went to a white white school or something like that that's supposed to be this great higher learning or whatever the case may be. I mean, I'm just simply college.
This the thing though, bro. most people, you'd be surprised at who recognize that the story is told in the Bible or about people of melanated skin. A lot of people don't believe that.
You know what's funny about that? I agree with you, but I think for black people in this day and age, I mean, I could see, maybe white people, because they're probably not really concerned about it. You know what I mean? They're probably only concerned about, whatever's on their mind and what they believe or whatever the case may be. For black people, though, if you still walking around and you still got a picture of a white Jesus in your house, and, not that honestly speaking, I don't care what color Jesus is. This is my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I just care about his lifestyle and what he lived and the example that he had for us in order for us to follow. But I'll say this,
the imagery is everything.
Yeah, I was going to say that you're right in the sense that we know that historically white people have, especially here in America, have made it where it's like, Jesus is white and, all the angels is white and everything else in heaven is white. And, like they say, and the only thing black in is the servants, you know what I mean? But in heaven is the servants, man. But, if you're black today and age, man, maybe I'm wrong, man. Maybe I just grew up in the New York school system where, they always taught some sort of, in a weird way, some sort of self-empowerment to black people. It's like, I just don't get it that this day and age, you're still sitting here going, there's black people in the Bible. Yeah.
It's people in Mississippi, and I ain't trying to down the South, but it's people in Mississippi and, Alabama and those places like that, certain parts of Louisiana, they're gonna tell you their savior is white. They probably still got that old picture that's been passed from their grandmother in their house. You know that picture,
right? Everybody got that white Jesus and Martin Luther King and
yeah.
and everybody in the house. But I don't know, man. It's just maybe I grew up in a different area where it's like, come on, man. If you just read the Bible tells you this. So I don't even understand how, if you're reading about it, forget about what your personal opinions are and all the other stuff like that with your religion, whether you're atheist or not or whatever the case may be. If you subscribe to that Bible, if you pick it up, the first thing it's going to tell you, Adam and Eve was created in Africa, and that's it. And everything else comes from that. You know what I mean? So if you're Chinese, if you're Arab, whatever you might be, your original descent is African. And even if you want to throw, if you want to put the Bible to the side, just science tells you. You know what I mean? That every time they dig up an old bone, it's black. Not
to mention when you deal with actual genetics,
archaeology. I mean, yeah.
when you actually deal with genetics, the melanin is a dominant gene, so you can actually make a Caucasian person from a melanated person just by using optimizing the recessive gene. But you couldn't do it in the reverse, and that is scientific fact.
Yeah, I mean that's what they taught us, man. That's what they taught us in school.
Acknowledge the fact of J-Rob just dropping.
Good words, man.
What was that last one you used, brother? Ophthalmic gene?
Look at that Philadelphia school system, man. Look at that Philadelphia school system, man.
Blowing my mind with the $20 words.
Yeah, who said 40 kids in the classroom and you still can't learn nothing, man?
That's the Encyclopedia Britannicas.
Wow, he said, wow. It's the door-to-door joke.
Yeah, y'all remember them, Jones.
The original Google, kids. Do it yourself.
That's when you had to dig in, man. You had to dig into that information. But again, man, I'm shocked that the brother that he actually sat down and watched this for 3 hours and 28 minutes. I mean, the whole story is about pretty much the whole 3 hours and 28 minutes is just about, verifying that the original Hebrews were black. You know what I mean? The other 10% of it is kind of a little slick talk in regards to the Jews and stuff like that. Like we know growing up on the street, seeing the Hebrew Israelites is the whole story about it. And this is what I always got from them is that, the original Jews is going to come back and take over. You know what I mean? So when I see the Hasidic community or the Jews or, whichever, you want to put in it. I guess a lot of these Jewish people, grew up in New York, man. So they seen these conversations on the street with these Hebrew Israelites. So, I mean, the documentary was kind of somewhat tamed as far as some of the stuff I seen from the Hebrew Israelites directly in the street. You know what I mean? But it's pretty much looks like the same thing. Like, the original God is going to unleash the original Hebrews on the rest of the world or something like that. That's the way how it spanned out.
I'm not disappointed in Kyrie for watching it because he considers himself an omnis. That they are people that actually believe in all religions. So that
is that what he called himself? I thought he was just a Hebrew Israelite.
No, he called himself an omnis.
Wow.
So he actually is, just gaining knowledge. You know what I mean? It would be like if you saw a copy of Mein Kampf and you picked it up and read it. Who says that you actually might not get anything good out of there? I'm not saying that you will because I haven't read it, but you might. The same way Kyrie watched this documentary and he received something that spoke to him.
Yeah, but again, I don't know where he could have received. Kyrie went to New Jersey. He went to school in New Jersey. You know what I mean? I could see if you said Mississippi, he went to school in New Jersey, man. Why would you look at that documentary and be like, oh, wow. I don't get it. I could see if you went, like, there was a person I know, and I'm not going to say their name, right? They went to a school one time. They went to a school in a different area, right? And one time I'm talking to them, and I say to them, I said, the word El Hajj Malik Shabazz. And they don't know that's Malcolm X.
Right.
And their whole point of, I say, yo, like, I felt like how in the world you don't know who Malcolm X is? You know what I mean? And the person explained to me, like, yo, you went to school in New York. You know what I mean? So then I looked at it and I said, all right, well, maybe you might be right. You know what I mean? Maybe I could see it that way. So I just don't see Kyrie slipping this information. His father seemed pretty intelligent, man. I watched his dad. You know what I mean? Your father had to teach you something, man. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But his obviously his father taught him to find his own truth.
Listen, bro, me and you talk all the time. I seen the Hebrews, like, it's a little weird to me, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I go back on him when he was wearing that aluminum foil, man, on in front of Conway's downtown Brooklyn, man. I was stood in front of the original joints, man. When they was sitting there looking like Shogun Warriors or whatever. They changed it up now with the the purple suits and everything, but it's still, I guess, the same information or whatever.
No, I saw him too. I had some run-ins with him back in the early 2000s.
You said, hold on, man, we got to unpack that. You said you had some run-ins with him?
Yeah, I had some run-ins. They come and they real aggressive with the information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I always been a seeker of truth. So I listen to what you're saying, but when it ain't making no sense, I'm gonna tell you, it ain't making no sense.
Hey, listen, man, I had a Puerto Rican girlfriend, man, when I was in high school, man. I remember going downtown Brooklyn and we went to the movies one time. We messed around and passed them Hebrew Israelites, but she looked like she was white, but she was Puerto Rican. Actually, she was half Puerto Rican and half black. Let me tell you something. That was the most rawest conversation I ever had. Puerto Ricans don't play around with the Hebrew Israelites. Let's just say she got off, man. That's what the Hebrew Israelites. She had some choice words for the Hebrew Israelites.
No tears in that conversation.
Oh, man.
I seen them cats, man. I used to stand outside like on 42nd Street with they little like diagrams saying like, like white people was like it's a pig.
They had tails. Yeah, white people had tails.
Man, and some of the stuff was so crazy. And then you got like a lot of Caucasian people feel emboldened and want to challenge these cats, and then they just walk away in tears, man. You know what I mean? It's like, cause they get so raw. And we always have this discussion. It's like you conveying a message, right?
Right.
So if you look at how Muslims did it, where they can convey a message and they can convey it in such a way that's so charismatic and so smooth with the words that it might convince you to be a Muslim. You know what I mean? Just in the delivery. And I often think like the Hebrew Israelites, it's like, who are you gaining with the way that you conveying the information?
Yeah, because it's all adversarial. It ain't no finesse to it.
No finesse to it, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny too, man. I seen so many people just tie him up. You know what I mean? And I think me and J. Rob was talking about this. One of the cats that's well known in New York. No, Captain Tazariak, man. And I remember like watching this 8-year-old. Anybody want to Google this, man? I think it was like a little kid tied him up in the scriptures, man. That little kid looked like he just came home from lunch, man. You know what I mean? And just he didn't even look like he prepared, man. He just went in there and just, you know, choked him out real quick, and you know, went back and got on the train. Used his bus pass right quick, got right on the bus. Like, yo, man, I just had to give it to him right quick, man. So again, man, they you know, they're the way they use them scriptures, man, is like real messed up, man. I don't have no respect for them, but in a sense, you know, going back to what we, you know, I guess we're gonna go into talking about Kyrie Irving and, you know, him talking. You can go ahead and speak on it.
Yeah. So like in general, I just wanted to ask y'all, man, like, where do you think this goes? Because now we got two incidents where, you know, you had the Kanye situation and you have the Kyrie situation. And now that the words like are getting thrown around, like, you know, this one is anti-Semitic or whatever, and they come up and they say these things, and then you got to knock them back down a couple of pegs, or, you know, it got to the point where they said like I think the ADL is like they're not accepting anything from Kyrie. I'm saying Kanye from Kyrie, in terms of like
I think this is a way.
Not even an apology, even though, Jay.
Yeah, but but that's another thing. Why is it that we as black men are held to a different standard than any other person on this planet? They want us to bow and scrape and grovel if we make a mistake. Anybody else make a mistake? Oh, they just made a mistake.
Yeah. And again, it's hard for me because I go back to saying I don't agree with the Hebrew Israelites. I want that known right off the top. But to be objective, you know what I mean, in regards to Kyrie Irving, you know what I mean, like there's so many other sports figures, actresses, singers that are aligned with some of the most silliest, disrespectful, you know, racist things that, you know, I find it hard to just pinpoint one person and just say, yo, listen, we need to have him. Tom
Cruise is a Scientologist.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but you know, I'm glad
they believe as a dude in a spaceship.
Yeah.
And that's cool. That's welcome and accepted.
Yeah, because you know, if you give some context on L. Ron Hubbard, he was a fellow science fiction writer.
Yeah.
And I always thought about that, man. I'm like, if Dianetics is like the Scientologist version of the Bible, will L. Ron Hubbard be your God? Because these are his words. You know?
It's some dude named John Smith, I believe, in the spaceship.
I thought John Smith was down with the Latter-day Saints.
I don't know, man. This is so weird.
Or what is it, the Mormons or something like that?
I'm not even trying to be disrespectful, but that is weird, man. It's weird. It's weird.
But you know what?
John Smith.
John Smith. The most common name you can possibly throw out of a hat, Jay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go because I'm gonna go into this, man, because to hit on what you were saying about the, you know, certain people say certain things and they have to walk it back. Jason Williams. Yeah, Jay Williams. Go ahead and say some things, but go ahead. Well,
I was going to say quickly, like, you know what I mean? And I know this is not a documentary. Y'all tell me if it's a difference. And I think one of y'all I was talking to earlier, maybe, and I was saying, like, you know, how many people put on Facebook, my favorite movie is The Godfather. You know what I mean? And in The Godfather, you know, there's a portion in there where the dude says, you know, we'll put our drugs in the dark people's area. You know what I mean? They're savages anyway. Let them lose their soul. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But people love The Godfather.
And it's accepted.
There's so many movies like that.
It's accepted to demean black people, and we just supposed to get over with it. That's just the way that it is. But if you speak your mind against anybody else, it's a problem.
What do you think, man, in regards to that? I mean, is that something that, like, I know because it's a documentary and then one is a movie. I mean, do y'all feel like the same way I feel in regards to it, or because of that?
Well, if it's a movie, somebody's thoughts went down on that paper, and it's conveyed in form of entertainment. You know,
well, not to mention, I don't even think a lot of times when they put these racial epithets in movies, like it wouldn't have made that scene any better or any worse.
Right.
Or
like you didn't have to put that in
where
there.
they could just say they spoke to their time. for that particular movie, like The Godfather, they spoke to their time. You know what I mean?
Look, like one of my favorite movies is Pulp Fiction. I think in Pulp Fiction they say nigga 15 million times, and that was a big thing. That they made that a big thing for a second, but they ain't trying to shut Quentin Tarantino down. He continued to make movies, and black people continue to stay in them.
Yeah, and he fixing to retire at this point. Like he done made so many, he about to retire. But I want to go into this Jay Williams thing, man, because he hit on a lot of points that we making right now about the disparity of celebrity. You know, as opposed to white celebrities and black celebrities, and the things that we have to go through whenever we, you know, quote unquote, make a mistake or tell the truth that somebody don't like or however it works. Here's Jay Williams.
When I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in the skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi, we don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize, and then you know what? The rest of the world moves on.
Yeah,
That's right on point.
Yeah, and that's tough for him to say that, man. Being, I think he's on ESPN, man. Yeah. So, you know, I think even in that interview, I think I saw it earlier, I think he was kind of saying, like, you know, he didn't care, you know, if his job was on the line kind of thing. Like, he was just going to put, you know, he was saying basically, like, I'm going to go ahead and put this out here, man, you know. And I think that was stand up. And again, I'm somebody who's appalled by the Hebrew Israelites.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm appalled by them. But on the same token, I don't know, man, I throw this out here, man, because when we talk about this, first of all, I believe there's only one religion, only one God, right? But in America, you know, I mean, and, you know, the church we go to is very strong. And, you know, sometimes people will look at that and say, like, certain things that they hear, they won't like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But, you know, when it comes to this, you know, freedom of religion thing here in America, you know, although I don't agree with any other religion, it's kind of like you almost nervous if you say, well, you know, let's start stifling people, because again, the problem is that, you know, eventually they'll come for the real church. You know what I mean?
Right.
The real church, you know. So, I mean, that's what kind of makes me nervous in regards to that, because again, in our church, you know, you know, they're spoken against certain things like, homosexuality, you know, marriage and divorce, a lot of things that people love, you know what I mean? So it's kind of controversial in the sense that, you know, people will look at that like that's some sort of ancient thought process or something like that. But in reality, you know, we follow that, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. It's just, I'm just saying that I don't agree with them. I think they're nasty. I think it's disgusting. But again, you know, I want to just keep it open, whereas I want to be able to have listen and hear my pastor, you know, without going through, you know, the same things they're going through. And maybe I could be wrong by saying that. God, please forgive me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what it's like. It's like I was saying before, we held to a different standard, and it's so, it just ain't right. You know what I mean? It's like. But it continues to happen. They took Muhammad Ali. He lost the prime of his career, right?
Right.
For standing up in what he believed in.
Yeah.
You have they're taking food out of and money out of people's mouths, money out of people's pockets because of what they believe in. But this don't happen to the Caucasians or the Indians or the Asians. Yeah. It don't happen to no other race of people. They can say whatever they want. They can demean black people, and it's like if they give an apology, everything's fine now. They made their amends.
Right. And then not to mention, I think black people so used to disrespect, we're just naturally forgiving. You know what I mean? Like, we just so used to disrespect. It's like, all right, well, great. He said I'm sorry. Let's get over with it. You know what I mean?
That's sad.
It is. It is.
It is sad.
And I mean,
It
this is
sad.
something that you can see already. It's taking its toll on him, and it's gonna eventually end with him just pretty much probably giving up basketball.
And let's say this also too, man. So we can get this right. Although I don't agree with any of them as far as some of their political and spiritual and religious ideologies, but I believe Kanye and Kyrie is two different people.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, truthfully speaking, if he had any sense, Kyrie, I think he would separate, because they keep trying to throw them in the same box together. And I would say he would want to separate himself completely from Kanye. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't agree with Hebrew Israelites, but I think what he does is whatever he believes, he's standing with it again. And you said he's not a Hebrew Israelite. You said he's an
omnist. They basically they believe in all religions.
Oh yeah, wow.
That's the reason why he fasts for Ramadan. And he does the other things that he do, because I guess he takes a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I got one God. That's tough enough, man.
Please, one.
I got one. That's it. That's tough enough, man. He got a lot of rules too, man. I'm having a hard time with the rules I got, man. I couldn't imagine taking on, all the other ones that come along with it. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
So in this particular case, I know they was talking about him, quote unquote, promoting the documentary on his Twitter by posting a link to it. And it's opened up like another question for me. It's like, we might put something in the show notes where, I might say, well, we go ahead and we'll paste a link to, like how we did with the show for Holmesburg. And you put the documentary in there or whatever. Will it come to a point where it's like, if you just post something, is that you really promoting it, or just, or you're just sharing information? Is it a difference between what they have him being accused of? Because, like, I'm going to play a clip from his press conference a few days ago, where a reporter actually said, well, you're promoting this movie, and promotion and actually just sharing information. Is it a fine line? Is it pretty much the same thing? What do y'all think?
Let me tell you this, man. The problem with Kyrie Irving and that documentary, man, is that, like I said again, there's Jewish people from New York that know what Hebrew Israelites stand for. That's the problem with it. So even if I look at the documentary, to be honest with you, the documentary was light compared to what I've seen from the Hebrew Israelites in New York City. You know what I mean? But them Jews are like, they got a phrase, never again. Never again. Meaning that, people who have influence and whatever the case may be, like Hitler was nobody. You know what I mean? In Germany at the time, but he had influence. So with his influence, he turned into something. You know what I mean? And I think that's their whole thing. Like, whenever somebody like rears their head that has some sort of influence, has some sort of money, their whole thought process to like destroy him now while he's at his, while he's at where he's at. You know what I mean?
And that's something that he actually touched on, to say that, y'all kind of put me in the box like I have this great influence over people, and things of that nature. And this is the reason why they kind of trying to stifle him. But let me play this clip. This is Kyrie at his press conference, and he's being confronted by another reporter here that's saying that he's promoting this video. So this is Kyrie.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book,
can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
Put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it. Do you see me in front of
putting it out there, people are going to say that you are promoting.
Yeah, put it out there just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
okay.
It's not.
You put things out there for a living, right?
Right, but my stuff
is
not.
So let's move on.
Let's
move on.
Anti-Semitic.
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing that.
Another
You're
human
free
being.
to post
I can post whatever I want. So say that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
It's just that's the problem now with this whole that whole media circus where they just try to badger people. Like, I couldn't imagine having to go through that. And they say that's the price of fame. That comes with the position, and they pay you all this money. You have media training. You know how to talk to reporters. But come on, man, you just sitting there just badgering the dude. I'm supposed to sit here and just listen to you.
Let me ask you a question though, man. And I think you just asked this question though. But I think in a way, I don't know. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong, man. I think he is kind of promoting it if he posted. You know what I mean? Do you feel that way or no?
Nah, I don't feel that way.
And that's the thing. It's kind of like a fine line, because I say if you repost anything, you can get something off somebody's Twitter feed. It doesn't necessarily have to be a documentary or anything. But if you just repost something that somebody said that might be offensive to, I give an example. All right. Somebody says something that you probably agree with against the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It might sound harsh what I'm saying. I'm just using it as an example. But say if somebody said, you know what? That's right. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna repost that.
Repost it. You know
what I
it
mean?
kind of. I don't know, man.
Is that like you know what I mean? Is it promoting what the person said, or you just in agreement to that particular situation?
It would be just like if we said when we was like, yo, you know what? Next Halloween, I'm gonna dress. If I ever get dressed up as Halloween, I'm gonna go as OJ. I'm not promoting domestic violence. Like, they got to stop with that. Like, just because social media is meant to be social, you a lot of stuff is done for shock value or to get some type of discussion started, right? But again, it's like we as black men is always held to this other standard. This suits. We gotta be superstar athletes. We gotta be thoughtful. You gotta be thought-provoking, charismatic, and you gotta be sensible enough to not cross none of these people that's in power, because they will shut you down and tap your pockets.
So the term being thrown around in this particular situation is buck breaking. Do you think that this is more of a shut up and dribble type of situation?
Nah, this is definitely buck breaking. They're trying, like he said, that they're trying to break this man down. They want him to grovel, beg for your job, nigga.
That's where a lot of people looking at it as. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I think he apologized, but he didn't completely say like, I apologize. Initially, I think he was just like saying I'm responsible for what I've done or whatever.
It's just like this,
offended
bro.
anybody.
I got the perfect analogy, man. Like when you get incarcerated, right, and you come up for parole, like
that's perfect. I know where you're going.
Yeah, they'll ask you to recount everything and show remorse. But if you actually didn't do you incarcerated for, how are you supposed to show remorse for it? You supposed to say, "Oh yeah, I did it just to make them happy." No, I didn't do it. And in this case, they're saying that this man says things that are anti-Semitic. And he's like, yo, I never said that. I never said nothing anti-Semitic. But y'all want me to admit to saying that.
Well, I never heard him actually say anything that was anti-Semitic. So, I mean, I get what you're saying there. I never heard him say anything like that. But again, I'm not saying that, like I said, I'm just being objective in it in the sense that I think that there's so many other people that do things just as horrible and repost things just as horrible that are in the NBA, in the NFL. Put it like this, even what about the dude in what was the guy in Philly? Wasn't a football player in Philly that got caught using the N-word or something like that? In
Riley Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never heard nobody say that.
Nothing. They suspended. They sent him home for practice for a couple of days, right? Deshaun Jackson posted something from Farrakhan, and it was a whole big thing. He had to go through all this sensitivity training and all that, and it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, and and they didn't force Riley Cooper to give Black Lives Matter or the NAACP $500,000.
Tom Brady was doing an interview with the "Make America Great Again" hat in his locker, but he's not promoting that.
Yeah. And on top of that, why is nobody ripping the doors off of Amazon and saying take this off of your platform?
Right.
They able to make money off of it.
They're still making money off of it. You know what I mean? So
nobody's gonna step to Jeff. Was it Jeff Bezos?
Jeff Bezos. Yeah, nobody's saying nothing to him about this, but another person that knows about this situation is Nick Cannon, who recently, sat down with the ADL and on a podcast. It was called "To Hate or Hate Not." To hate or not to hate. I'm sorry, to hate or not to hate. So he was discussing this with one of the members of the ADL and in defense of Kyrie Irving. So I'm gonna play a clip from that Y'all let me know what you think about it, all right? So here we go, Nick Cannon.
I can wholeheartedly say I know Kyrie Irving is not anti-Semitic.
When given the chance to say, are you anti-Semitic or not, he didn't say, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. Tell us about that movie, why he did. He said, stop dehumanizing me. And the movie is saying white Jews invented the Holocaust and 6 million Jews didn't get killed. Okay, I know that isn't right. Jewish people know when you dehumanize us this way, we know what's around the corner.
So in that same statement as those are the tropes that dehumanize Jewish people, the same buck breaking.
What's that? I don't really know what that means.
The slave masters would bring the buck, the one that gets out of line. So all the other slaves would see lash after lash, showed them the power to set an example. This is what you must do to fall in line. So when we see the 6 things that Kyrie must do to get his job back, that's dehumanizing.
Nick gotta watch himself too, man. He just danced out of a few hard corners himself a couple of years ago, man. So it's sad, man. But
so salute to Nick Cannon. Keep fighting the system.
Hey, nah, you can't salute him, man. He bowed down, man. Hey, they broke him, man. Matter of fact, I think after they broke him, he had like I hate to use the term, but he has a so-called rabbi on there.
Man, they got a daytime talk show. Back to
they broke him down, man. You know.
I know that interview with Professor Griff is hard. Like that's very, very.
Griff said, "Yo, you want to go there?"
Yeah.
Griff gave him a pass.
Yeah, he tried
Griff knew
like,
what it was going to be. Yeah,
tried to give him a lane, man. Like, nah, you might not want to do this, brother.
Well, see, again, man, and that's the thing with a lot of this stuff, man, is like, I could listen to Professor Griff, right? And I could listen to Farrakhan, and there's some truth in a lot of, and some things that they say, man. But some things, they just go off the cuff, just so far off, man, whereas for me, it taints the truth. The truth that they have, it taints it. You know what I mean? They just go so far off the cuff, man. You know what I mean? I just can't, I don't know. It's just me, man. You know what I mean? Because I'll listen to Farrakhan and he go into history and he'll give you a whole bunch of, good jewels and understanding of certain things, man. And then he'll go into that racist stuff that throws me off because you can't, again, I don't subscribe to Islam, but I know that I could Google Mecca right now. You know what I mean? And there's a bunch of white and black people walking around in Mecca. You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense to me, a lot of the racist rhetoric that's thrown around in there. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
Let me ask y'all a question. They said something in that interview. Nick Cannon, this gentleman, was sitting down talking. And he was saying that when you dehumanize us, then we know what's coming around the corner.
Oh, well, that's what I was telling you before. Mm-hmm. Never again.
Now, let me ask y'all a question. And this is just a question. You tell me what you think about it. Do you think with the recent event of, Kanye and now with Kyrie and God knows whoever else comes down the pike with this, is this us versus them situation that's trying to be created here?
Truth be told, the more that this gets so much airplay, I'm looking at what are we being distracted from?
Yeah, that too, man. Mm-hmm. I heard somebody speak on something like that too. Like, saying like every time Kanye, talks and, this situation goes on between blacks and Jews, in the same token, we're like on the verge of like what, World War III.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With the, the Russians and everything else that's going on there. Like nobody's really talking about that. You know what I mean?
Remember when we did this show about slavery being on the ballot? That was during the time, the height of that whole Kanye situation. Nobody talked about that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, man, I don't think Kanye and Kyrie is the same person, man. I think Kyrie got enough sense enough not to degrade his own black people in order to, to celebrate, whatever religion he in, you know what I mean? Or to be a part of whatever religion he in. Kanye to me is a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving is actually a truth seeker. You know what I mean? I believe that he's attempting to find out what's real to him in the as far as religion and theology. where Kanye he's a reader, where Kanye West is just a person that regurgitates stuff that other people said to him.
Yeah, I pray that this is my prayer. I said, I pray Kyrie does get the truth. Yeah. I pray that he does get the truth and get understanding and knowledge and wisdom of the scriptures, and I pray that he get it the right way.
Yeah, most definitely.
Word.
Now, to close it out, Charles Barkley, this is Charles Barkley's words, not mine, called this man an idiot who should have been, suspended. Now, they're saying, Steve Nash got fired around the same time or whatever. Excuse me. And, they're saying, well, he's not the scapegoat for this. Do you think Charles is out of pocket for saying this? First of all, I don't agree with him calling the man an idiot, because if this was, any other situation, you know what I mean, he wouldn't call him an idiot.
Charles' situation was even dumber than that, and please, I'm actually just kind of remembering the conversation, and I believe he said I don't know if he says daughter or somebody he knows is married to a Jewish man, and once Kyrie made these statements, he had to call him and see if he was all right and all this other stupid garbage.
Uncle
and I'm like, man, listen, man, again, I love everybody. I don't have no racism on my body, man. When it comes to the Jewish community, I love them like I love anybody. But I'll say this, like the world is tough. If imagine if that same Jewish gentleman called him every time black people was disrespected. It wouldn't be enough phones. It wouldn't be enough phone calls in the world,
Yeah,
this is my thing, man. And I'm from Philadelphia. I grew up watching Charles Barkley, Dr. J. I caught the end of Doc, but we loved us some Charles Barkley. And to see what this man has become, it just breaks my heart. Like, come on, dog. How? Yeah. When you was telling that story about what he said about his daughter being married to a Jewish man, I just was picturing Samuel L. Jackson in Django hugging on Leo DiCaprio. Just like, man, this is ridiculous.
We went Uncle Tom on it.
Yo, I'm so disappointed. Like, and remember, Barkley wasn't no choir boy. Barkley was throwing people through the windows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Rick Mahorn.
yeah.
It was terrorized. They terrorized Philadelphia a little time he was out there, man. But yeah, man. I thought that was like, above. Like it goes too far into it. Like, I called him to see if he was all right. The heck out of here, man. You know what I mean? Like we all. This is America, man. You gotta have tough skin in this joint, man. You know what I mean? Everybody's getting disrespected. You know what I mean? So I don't. I wonder. I would love to ask him. Does his Jewish friend call him? When black people are disrespected,
or every time a young black kid gets shot, do they pick up the phone and call you and say, "Are you okay? You good?"
Yeah, it's weird, man. Chuck disappointed me with that, man. I thought that was a little over the top. You know what's funny? And I think Shaq did some old weirdo garbage too, man. But I didn't see Kenny Smith. Kenny always riding right, man. I gotta check out Kenny Smith, man. See what he say about it, man.
Well, hold up. This the $1 million question.
Mm-mm.
For $100 million. would you just shut up? Would you just shut up and not say nothing? And call everybody that doesn't toe the line an idiot like Charles Barkley does? Would you do that?
Nah, I can't live with myself, man.
Yeah, man.
Can't live with myself, man.
With all that money in your hand, looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I feel you. I abide by the same code that I have to be able to look myself in the mirror.
Look yourself in the mirror, yeah.
Yeah, I've turned down money already for things that I could have got. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just to lie or say something wrong to get the money or whatever the case may be. So, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm perfect because I've made mistakes and I have lied to get money in my lifetime, different things. But, as of late, I'm trying to live a little bit better and, live a little more righteous like. And, we turn down some things that, that go against the rules and the grain, you know what I mean?
Right.
Got it.
Some of these people, yeah, but some of these people, man, Chuck, oh man, It seems like he just like
he's
loves to
actually
get
not
on
even
the.
qualified to give an opinion.
You know, during the protest, Black Lives Matter protest, did y'all watch at that time when all of them was out there and you know, Ernie and everybody sitting at the desk? The Jet was the only one that said, "Yo, I need to be out there with them."
Right.
They shut the games down.
Oh, shout out to Kenny from Queensbridge, man.
Oh, yeah. And ever since then, I mean, you know, they've always, you know, Shaq and Charles Barkley has always done some questionable stuff, but for some reason at that particular moment, I never looked at them the same again. Because I'm like, he got up and he left and went where he needed to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Kenny's different, man.
Right?
Kenny's
like,
different, man.
And in his pardon, the man said, "Yo, I'm probably going to lose my job for doing this."
Right.
And he took the mic off, walked out. Them two sat right there. Ernie was the only one to say, "Yo, I respect that."
Right.
You know what I mean? Them two sat right there and did absolutely nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know,
Shaq
and them ain't gonna toe the line too much nowhere. You know what I mean? The best thing I've ever seen Shaq come out again is I think he came out against Kanye. You know what I mean? And corrected that, but they always seem to toe the line. I mean, this is a guy who runs around and says not to say there's anything wrong with a police officer or whatever like that, but he has a badge and you know, all the stupid garbage. You know what I mean?
North New Jersey, are you a police officer?
I don't even care if he's but the fact that you're playing a police officer, man, is ridiculous.
I care. Come on, Shaq. Come on, man. Big fella, come on. Don't do that.
They modifying cop cars for him to sit inside, man, all kinds of goofy garbage, man. So that's kind of weird.
Where do you find the time to be, you know, a cop?
Yeah,
where do you find the time? Like, you know, with everything else that he's doing. But
Shaq's a big kid, man. He's a goofy kid, man.
Maybe it was just a special door that they allowed him to walk in.
You know, I wonder, like, cats like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell, when they look at these guys, you know what I mean? Like, they looking with a disrespect, man. You know what I mean? Here's Bill Russell, man, you know, during his height of his career, man, you know, cats is spray painting the N-word on his house and defecating in his bed, all kinds of crazy stuff, man. He's still standing tall and doing what he had to do during that time, man. So again,
let's talk about that. Bill Russell gave a great story about how they defecated in his bed, where he sleeps his home. Is anybody running around trying to apologize for that?
Yeah, never had.
Ain't gonna step up to. You're not gonna get nobody to admit to it, more or less than apologize.
Slavery's still on the ballot. Is anybody apologizing for that?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, man.
You're right, man.
It's a lot of stuff. How long did it take the Clintons to apologize for breaking up homes?
Oh, they have. I don't even. Did they do that?
They did. They did. But it was like years later. Like, this is around the time when Barack was running or something like that. That's when they apologized.
What was the name they called the black
Super Predators?
Super Predators.
Super Predators. Yeah, man. And I didn't see them go on tour. You know what I mean? Or instead of apologizing, what you should have did was went back in them law books, man, and started getting some of these people out of there that you put in there for a little what is non-aggravated crimes and stuff like that, man. You know what I mean?
And then insult to injury. Then at one point, Bill Clinton set up shop in Harlem.
Yeah, yes, he did. and black people following him around like he the Pied Piper.
Playing the saxophone on Arsenio.
They so happy.
Playing the saxophone on Arsenio.
Yeah, man.
I seen the one where they was like so happy that he, black people following him from his office into McDonald's because he was getting I think a burger or something like that from McDonald's on 125th or somewhere up there in Harlem, man. People up there. Coon. He's the Pied Piper, man. They cooning and buffooning following him, man. It was ridiculous, man.
Now, think about that, right? Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and played the saxophone to pander to black people. Yeah. Biden got on TV and said, "You're not black if you don't vote for me." To black people, the disrespect. Now, if any black person that was trying to go for let's say that they're going for mayor or even president. I don't even know what I would consider overly Caucasian thing, but like I don't know.
Anything you've named.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. You get up there and start yodeling. Let's say a brother got up to a TV and start yodeling. You know what I'm saying? Because he's trying to pair the white. You know what I mean?
Or imagine if a black man got on the Breakfast Club and said, "You're not Jewish if you don't vote for me, man."
Yeah, exactly.
Campaign done. Campaign done right there.
Campaign is done, man.
Really no
That's
sense
crazy.
in even moving on. All right, y'all. With that said, we about to wrap this up. Good conversation, gentlemen.
No doubt.
Yeah.
As always. All right. House cleaner item. I didn't do this. We actually hit a nice little milestone in our subscribership. We want to thank y'all for that. I want to give 2 shout outs today. Nehemiah Jami. I might be pronouncing the name wrong, but thank you. And Renee Mickens as well. Thank you for your support.
Shout out to Renee.
Salute.
Remember, we're going to be giving these shout out, recognitions, excuse me. I got to correct my own self. Recognitions for these people as we go along, for everybody else supporting us. Also, too, real quick, J-Rod, welcome to the family. We didn't make it official. We got.
Appreciate it.
He is now added on to the description, folks. Okay, the Only One Mic podcast is available on all major platforms that you stream your podcasts on. Also, check out our Only One Mic podcast YouTube channel to catch up on the past and current episodes. Please don't forget to rate the show and subscribe. Also, if you want to get in contact with us, you can reach us on Instagram and Twitter at The Only One Mic P1, Facebook and LinkedIn at The Only One Mic Podcast. And email us at the onlyonemike00@gmail.com. There you can leave your comments and all. We thank you once again for your time and encourage you to speak your truth quietly and clearly and listen to others, even the dull and the ignorant, because they too have their story to tell. So until next time, please keep in mind we never had to run from the Ku Klux Klan, so we shouldn't have to run from a black man. Peace.
Subscribe, like.